Flashes of light, shadows beyond the clouds, silent things that move with purpose but leave no sound behind. Tonight, we invite you to look closer. What you're about to see isn't a story. It isn't a theory. These are real recordings captured by passengers, ordinary people during ordinary flights. But what they filmed was anything but ordinary. From glowing orbs that shift in shape to silent disks floating above cities, these encounters defy explanation. And as you watch, ask yourself, are we flying through skies we truly understand? Or are we simply moving through their territory, unaware, until they choose to reveal themselves? Stay with us, because the skies are watching. The sky above Seoul was an endless expanse of soft gray. Clouds curled and layered like ancient silk, wrapping the earth in silence. At 30,000 feet, time seemed to stretch. Conversations faded. The hum of the engines became the only sound. Near the back of the cabin, a man sat quietly by the window. He wasn't thinking about much, just watching the sky, the clouds, the slow, glowing dusk. He pulled out his phone, lifted it casually, and began to film. A few seconds just for memory, just the usual. But then something shifted. Out there, just past the wingtip, something moved. At first, it was subtle. A shape gliding through the haze, pale, smooth. And it didn't belong. He leaned closer to the window, heart suddenly alert. There it was, an object perfectly oval, glowing white with a soft, metallic shimmer. It didn't blink. It didn't pulse. It simply moved, calmly, silently. The man raised his phone again, zoomed in. The object wasn't flapping like plastic. It wasn't distorted like a water droplet. It held its form, sharp edges, smooth motion. And it was flying alongside the plane. Not below, not above, not passing, following. For almost 10 seconds it stayed there, unmoving in its intent. Then, with a fluid motion, it faded into cloud as if slipping through a doorway in the sky. The footage, once uploaded, ignited a storm. Skeptics dismissed it as a trick. Some claimed a drone. Others said nothing, just stared quietly, knowing what they had seen with their own eyes before. And for the man in seat 24A, he didn't need anyone's opinion, because the moment he looked into that glowing oval, he felt it looking back. The sun over Spain was at its peak, pouring gold across the sky. Below the aircraft, the clouds rolled like a sleeping ocean, still and endless. Inside the cabin, passengers drifted in and out of conversations, flipping through magazines, sipping coffee. It was, by all appearances, an ordinary flight, but in the cockpit, something shimmered in the distance. At first, the pilots thought it might be another aircraft catching the sun, but it didn't move like a plane. It hovered, spinning gently, reflecting light in fractured rainbows. A shape, geometric, almost crystalline, floated just above the flight path. It turned slowly, as if inspecting the jet or waiting. Its surface glistened like wet glass. But unlike glass, it didn't reflect the world, it twisted it. The sky behind it bent in strange ways, like a heat haze with purpose. No turbulence, no warning, just that silent shape suspended in the blue. And then, without a sound, it dissolved. No flash, no burst of light. Gone, back in row 28, a teenager had been filming the sky, a lazy shot, the kind you delete later. But when she played it back, she paused there. For less than a second, a prism turning in midair, capturing sunlight like a living diamond. She posted it, and the world asked questions. What object flies without wings? What reflects light like cut crystal, then vanishes without trace? There were no answers, but for everyone on that plane, especially those who saw the footage after, one truth began to settle in their minds. Something had appeared that day. Not to fly, but to be seen. It was early morning. The light outside the cabin windows was soft, almost golden, brushing gently across the clouds like a whisper. The man near the window wasn't expecting anything unusual. He was sipping coffee, absent-mindedly watching the sky. But then he froze. There, cutting slowly through the mist, was a dark shape. Long, strange, moving like a creature in deep water. It didn't dart or flash, it drifted, smooth, intentional. Alive, its form stretched like a tadpole, thick at the front and trailing behind. Leaving a streak of black smoke that didn't move, didn't fade, just hung there. He watched in silence. It circled once, then again, as if testing the air, as if drawing something. He raised his phone, fingers shaking. Through the lens, the object seemed even more surreal. No wings, no lights, no sound. It didn't obey gravity. It obeyed something else entirely. Later, they would call it a drone. A missile, a weather anomaly. But the man only said one thing. It knew I was watching. High above the Mediterranean, the sky was crystal clear. A silver jet cut through the atmosphere like a blade. Inside, a middle-aged man quietly filmed the endless horizon, out of habit, not hope. Then something caught his eye. A soft glow. White suspended beside the plane. It didn't flash, it didn't blink. It hovered patient and steady. He focused his lens, and in that moment it began to transform. The orb stretched outward, dividing into 3 glowing arms. It twisted into a Y-shaped figure, each limb swirling in silent harmony like a dance choreographed by something not quite human. It kept perfect pace with the plane, not leading, not trailing, beside. No one else looked. No one else seemed to notice. But he filmed it frame by frame until it simply faded into the sky. Some said it was plasma, others claimed something organic, alien, but whatever it was, it didn't hide, it revealed itself, like it wanted to be seen. Just after takeoff from Brisbane, the clouds looked thick and sleepy. The sky was calm, still, comfortable. Christine Emanuel wasn't looking for anything. She was just resting her head against the window, eyes half closed. But then something appeared. A shape, sharp, dark, unmoving, hovering just beyond the wing. It wasn't large, but it wasn't far. At first she thought cloud, but it didn't blur, it didn't move. And it had edges too perfect to be natural. She leaned forward, startled. Tapped her partner beside her. He stirred but saw nothing. It was already fading. Christine lifted her phone and recorded. The object stayed in view for 5 full minutes. No sound, no trail. Just a matte black silhouette, present, deliberate, close. Then it vanished, not fast, not slow, just gone. She posted the video. The internet answered, that wasn't a shadow, it was too solid, too near. She already knew. Lucas Kim had taken this route before, Seoul to Bangkok. He didn't expect anything strange. But that night the air felt different. As he gazed out the window, he saw faint glimmers just beyond the wing. They pulsed green, then yellow, then back to green. At first he assumed it was sunlight on glass. But the lights were moving together, synchronized, not like a reflection, more like formation. He zoomed in with his camera. The lights didn't flicker, they didn't drift. They advanced slowly, calmly, like dancers in the dark. One by one, they disappeared, not blinking out, not breaking apart, just fading like stars being dimmed by an unseen hand. Lucas had no explanation, only the feeling that he had witnessed a performance, one not meant for humans, and still they had shown it to him. Dennis Atanes had worked hundreds of flights. Nothing surprised her anymore. Until that day. As her flight rose above the clouds, somewhere between Luton and Poland, she noticed something glowing outside the window near row 9. A soft sphere floating just above the cloud line. Its color shimmered between pink and violet like a pearl soaked in moonlight. It pulsed, not like a machine, more like a breath. She leaned closer. The object swayed slightly, gracefully, like it was suspended in water. Denisa pulled out her phone and recorded. Her heart was pounding. She notified the pilot. He looked. He saw it too. No one said a word to the passengers. No report was made public. But Denisa kept the footage, and the memory, that feeling sharp and undeniable, that the sphere was watching her as much as she was watching it. In the skies over London, the clouds were thick like velvet. A passenger filmed absent-mindedly through the window. Then something cut across the frame. A disc, smooth, balanced, lights on either side, hovering unshaken. It didn't flash or flee. It simply floated. Others had seen it too in North London months earlier, same shape, same glow, in Texas years before. Another object, this one fast, silent, blurred, caught only by slowing the footage frame by frame. It shot past a plane at impossible speed, and over Zurich. A Singapore Airlines flight was descending, engines soft. Suddenly, a white blur streaked beneath them, so fast it was gone before anyone could react. All three sightings shared something in common. They were too brief to understand, but too real to ignore. The Virgin Atlantic flight had just lifted off from JFK. In seat 17A, a man with a love for astronomy was filming the wing, admiring the city shrinking below. Then, from behind, something appeared. At first, just a shimmer. Then clarity, a sleek metallic object shaped like a needle passed the tail of the plane in a silent blur. It moved too fast for a drone, too clean for debris, too precise for nature. He rewound the footage, again and again. It was no bird, no balloon, and no aircraft had been announced near that airspace. He uploaded the video. It spread fast. People argued, debated, doubted. But no one could name it, only witness it. In Lincoln, New Hampshire, the sky was clear. A local man stood in his backyard watching the fading light of a commercial jet high above. Then he noticed something else. Not one, not two, but three. Three disc-shaped objects gliding behind the airliner like wolves tracking a deer. They moved as one. No wings, no sound, just radiant metal shapes coasting along the plane's vapor trail. Then, without warning, they accelerated. Past the jet, and vanished into the blue. He caught the moment on camera. He had seen jets his whole life, military exercises, surveillance flights. But this was not ours. These were watchers, and they moved with purpose. The lights, the shapes, the impossible things moving quietly through our airspace. Some of them hovered, some followed, some simply vanished, but none of them made sense. So we ask you, what do you believe these passengers captured? Coincidence, camera tricks, or something not from here? Tell us in the comments, because your thoughts might be the key to unlocking the truth we've been circling around for decades. And remember, every time you look out that airplane window, don't just look for clouds, look for what doesn't belong, because out there above us, they're not hiding anymore, they're waiting.